Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Krishna
Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyayo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Harita from Texas. Welcoming all of you to the mid-morning Japa session. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. Let us please move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata class. May I know who all have joined the call, please?
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from Texas, and very nice to see you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble.
Continue.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Welcome to the call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees on the call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
All glories to Prabhupada, all Guru Maharaj, all glories to all the Bhakti Sangha devotees, all glories to Vinita Gandharvika.
Hare Krishna, Sukkar Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Welcome to the call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thanks for joining the call, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji. Please accept my Dandavat Pranam. This is Sanjeev Kumar from Chennai.
Hare Krishna, Sanjay Kumar Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thanks for joining the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, unmute yourself, Mataji, please. Not muted.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Welcome to the call, Mataji. May I know your name, Mataji?
Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please welcome. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone who wants to introduce themselves?
Mataji, we can start. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. So today's class will be given by Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji, and the topic is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Khanda 1.8 284 to 316. Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thanks for taking this session, Mataji. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Prabhupada quote, did you kept ready?
Yeah, sure. Mataji. So today's Prabhupada quote is, if there is lack of obedience, then there cannot be discipline. And without discipline, we cannot manage a huge world organization. Los Angeles, June 19th, 1972. This is the quote for today by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please take over the call, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Harita Mataji, for your warm welcoming. I hope I'm audible. Thanks to
Yes, Mataji. Yes, you're audible.
Thanks to everybody for joining us today. And thank you, Vinita Gandarvika Mataji, for hosting the calls. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, and this is Madhya Khanda, chapter 1. Before we get started, I would like to offer prayers, and then we'll go into the subject matter for today. Ajanulambita pujau kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitarau kamala yadakshau vishvambharau dvijavarau yugadharma palau vande jagat priyakarau karunavatarau jayati jayati deva krishna chaitanya chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtistasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityastasya Vishveshvamurte Jayati Jayati Nritya Tasya Sarva Priyanam Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Please bless me so that I may be able to speak a few relevant words related to the subject matter. Okay. As mentioned, we are reading from Madhya Khanda of Caitanya Bhagavat. I will start the screen share. These are verses 284 onwards, and we will go till verse number 316 through the entire span of the class. Arakiba Ganga Dasa Panditera Sadhya Yara Sishya Chaturdasha Bhuvana Aradhya. What else is there to be attained by Gangadas Pandit, whose student is worshipped throughout the 14 worlds? The phrase Ara Kiba Sadhya means, what other superior desired result is there? So you all know the background of the story, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back from Gaya. He had met his spiritual master, and he had symptoms of ecstasy. So when he came back to Navadvip, he was exhibiting these different symptoms of ecstasy, and he was chanting the holy names of Krishna. And when he was asked to continue his teaching profession, he taught grammar in terms of Krishna consciousness. So the students were very worried, and eventually Gangadas Pandit, who was the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was told that Nimai is behaving in a very different way. So Gangadas Pandit, he comes forward and he advises Nimai. He tells him, it's okay, I understand you are flooded with Krishna Prema, but it is our duty to continue our occupation. So you must become a better teacher. You should become so strong in Nyaya. You should be able to defeat all the people who are giving wrong interpretations on Shastra. So you strengthen your career for now, you become a stronger teacher, and then eventually when time comes, you can continue with this love of God that you're exhibiting now. So Gangadas Pandit is glorified in this verse. Why? Because Gangadas Pandit was a very ideal spiritual master. So he told Nimai, maybe this is not the time. Take a few more years or days, or just take a little more time and become very, very strong in your profession. Nobody should be able to argue with you. And then you can attain the perfection of life, which is love of God, and you can show symptoms of ecstasy. So here the verse says, what else is there to be attained by Gangadas Pandit, whose student is worshipped throughout the 14 words? How great it is to become the spiritual master of the Lord of the universe. So this is the glory of Gangadas Pandit. Giving appropriate advice according to time, place, circumstance. I think all of our spiritual masters, they also take up this role. Sometimes the same instruction is not given at the same time to some devotees. Srila Prabhupada also, he has exhibited in his life. When he gives personal instructions at different times to different devotees, it can be slightly different, depending on the circumstance, depending on the time, depending on the place, depending on the situation of that devotee. So similarly, here Gangadas Pandit, he advises Nimai Pandit. Chalila paduya sange Prabhu Vishwambhara Taraka Vishtita Yena Purna Shashadhara. As Lord Vishwambhara walked along with the students, he appeared like the full moon surrounded by stars. In the sky, there is only one moon, but there are multiple stars. The moon always stands out. The moon is known as the husband of the stars, right? We have 27 nakshatras and one Chandra. So that one is definitely unique. Similarly, Nimai Pandit, he's shown very, very special as he was walking with all his students. So there were a number of students for Nimai Pandit. He was a professor. He had many, many students. But this professor was very special and very unique. Vasila Asiya Nagariyara Duyara Yanahara Charana Lakshmi Hrudaya Upare. He whose lotus feet are kept on the heart of Lakshmi came and sat at the doorstep of a local resident's house. So we are going into the next pastime. So all this while in today's class and in the whole of last week, we were seeing the story of Gangadas Pandit, how he was giving specific instructions to Nimai Pandit. We also saw the different changes that happened in Nimai Pandit. But hereafter, we are going to look at one particular devotee by the name Ratnagarbha Acharya, and we'll see what happened in that in today's class. So he whose lotus feet are kept on the heart of Lakshmi came and sat at the doorstep of a local resident house. So in this Navadvip, Jagannath Mishra, the father of Nimai Pandit, he had many nice neighbors. And traditionally, in those days, the houses were constructed in a particular fashion. Many of you who have seen traditional India would know this, that in the entrance, there would be a sitting place for travelers in every house, There would be a small mantap at the entrance, and on either side, there are stone slabs where traveling people or people who need rest can actually rest at the entrance of the door. They don't have to come inside the house, but outside they take their seat, and sometimes great conversations and Gramya Katha also. All of this happens at the doorstep because there is place to sit around, and then people gather and they chat, and all their evening entertainment and gathering happens at the doorsteps of many people. So this was traditional India before the time of cell phones and televisions, radio stations. Before all of that was actually in place, we had people who would gather. They would gather in temples. They would gather in these front doorsteps or the front porch of many homes. And they would sit and discuss many topics. And we have seen in olden times, the topics that were discussed were all Krishna Katha. So everything was around the temple and everything was around Krishna. So like this, Nimai Pandit, as he was walking through the road, he came and he sat at the doorstep of a local residence house. So there was a sitting area. So he just sat down. It is very common. And even now in some parts of India, you still have those traditional homes. And in villages, if you go and see, you'll see that the front area is always somebody, just even a passerby can sit down, take rest, and then go. So nobody is questioning. And how did he sit? That is this verse. Yoga patta chande vastra kariya bandhana sutrera karaye prabhu khandana sthapana. Wearing his cloth like a sannyasi, the Lord repeatedly established and refuted sutras. So he's taking the instruction of his guru, and he's repeatedly establishing and refuting different sutras from grammar and other texts. So what is this wearing his cloth like a sannyasi? Yoga patta chande vastra koriya bandhana. What does that mean? For an explanation of the phrase Yoga patta chande, one should refer to Adi Khanda, chapter 10, verse number 12. So what we're going to do is we're quickly going to look at the Yoga patta, what it means. So I will share screen and I will show you what is told in Adi Khanda. And then I will show you pictures of how this yoga patta is worn. So we can see different pictures and we can understand how it is worn. So all of you can see my screen, Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda and screen. Everyone can see. Just give a thumbs up or you can unmute.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So this is the verse that was referred. Nimai wore his cloth like a sannyasi and he sat in the Virasana posture. This was actually in the Adi Khanda, the marriage with Sri Lakshmi Priya. In that chapter also a similar statement is being made about how Nimai from time to time he wears that yoga patta cloth and he sits down. And here, if you read the commentary given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says the word yoga patta refers to a way Vedic sannyasis wear their cloth. So a person who is performing certain portions of the yoga section, certain sections of the yoga methodology of sitting in a particular posture and giving instruction, they sit in this posture. The word yoga kaksha found in the Sridhara Swami commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.639. The same word is also used. The piece of cloth, how does this yoga patta look? It is a piece of cloth circling tightly around the back and thigh like a belt that a sannyasi wears, and this is called as yoga patta. It is stated in the Padma Purana, Kartika Mahatmya, chapter 2, the piece of cloth that a sannyasi wears wrapped around his side like a bangle that covers the back and hangs down to his knees is called as yoga patta. We are going to see pictures of yoga patta, but I'm just giving you a description from Padma Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam and other places, how it is supposed to be worn. And here in this particular verse in the Adi Khanda, it is mentioned Nimai wore the cloth like a meditating sannyasi and he sat in the Virasana posture. Okay, so the Virasana posture is again described is like sitting like a hero with one left foot on the right thigh and the right foot on the left thigh. This is explained in Sridhara Swami's commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein he quotes from the Yoga Shastras as follows. Placing the right foot on the left thigh and the left foot on the right thigh while placing the left hand on the left thigh and raising the right hand in an argumentative pose like that is called as Virasana. So now I will show you pictures of Virasana. Here we go. This is the, okay, let's see for the yoga patta. I hope I didn't close anything. Oh, I wanted to show you nice pictures. Anyway, so you see this band that is there here, this band that comes out like that across the waist. This is actually the yoga patta. Okay. There were more pictures that I probably, let me just stop screen share and I'll open up those pictures to show you in more detail the exact posture that Nimai was sitting. Just give me a second. Unfortunately, I ended up closing the section. Okay, here we go. So these are ancient sculptures. Sharing the screen again. Here. So these are ancient sculptures. If you see, this is the sculpture of Parvati Devi when she was meditating to attain the mercy of Lord Shiva. She wanted to marry Lord Shiva. So she was undergoing great austerities. You see the yoga patta here? There is a band that is here, and the right leg is on the left thigh and the left leg is on the right thigh. And they sit in Virasana posture like that. Okay, so this is one here. Very famous sculpture of Lord Narasimha Dev in Hampi. Very, very famous. So is it Hampi? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Hampi. So here is the band, the yoga patta, and you see how Lord Narasimha Dev is sitting. The same posture. Of course, the hand is now gone. It has been destroyed, but otherwise you see the same posture. So the belt that is worn around the body. Here also you see a sannyasi in an ancient painting where he has this belt around his waist and he's sitting like that. I can show you most. There are many sculptures with a here is the drawing of this yoga patta, exactly described in the verse, where there is a knot and then it hangs down. So of course, this person is sitting like this, but here in one of the other verses it is mentioned in the Adikanda verse that at one point Mahaprabhu was also sitting in the Virasana posture. And these are other postures with which you can sit in the yoga patta, similar postures. Sometimes Dakshinamurti is a form of Lord Shiva. He is known to be sitting in that particular posture that is described in these verses with the yoga patta. Okay. So just some extra information, which may not be so important, but I just thought since it's there in the verses, I will share it. Okay, so now we have our Nimai is sitting like that, and he's ready to argue with anyone who has any problem with any of the sutras. So wearing the cloth like a sannyasi, the Lord repeatedly established and refuted different sutras. प्रभु बले संधि कार्य ज्ञान नहीं यारा कली योगे भट्टाचार्य पड़वीतहारा सब ज्ञान नहीं यारा ऐसे तर्क वाखाने अमरेता प्रबोधिते नारे को न जाने ये आमी खंडना करी करी स्थापना धेकिता Anyata Karuka Konjana. The Lord said, in Kali Yuga, one who does not have any knowledge about the conjunction of words is awarded the title Bhattacharya. He's not studied anything. He has no idea of grammar. He has nothing, but he's a Bhatta. He's a very learned person. He's awarded the title Bhattacharya. And one who has no knowledge of grammar is engaged in explaining knowledge, Nyaya, logic. So if you have not studied the Nyaya Shastra and you're trying to explain logic, how foolish it is. You should know the basics of Nyaya Shastra. But none of them can defeat me. Even if you're the greatest scholar in Kali Yoga, you cannot go and defeat Nimai Pandit. Who can challenge the way I refute and re-establish a sutra? We have seen in the earlier chapters how Nimai Pandit would tease all his classmates by refuting, especially he would tease Gadadhar Pandit by establishing a sutra and then refuting it immediately. So it was impossible to argue with Nimai Pandit. For an elaboration on these verses, we refer to Adi Khanda again, where all these explanations are given about refuting Nyaya. So if a person is not learned, properly learned, and if he's not as smart as Nimai Pandit, it would be impossible for him. Ye mata bale vishvam bhara vishwanata pratyuttara kari beka hena shakti kata. In this way, Vishwambhara, the Lord of the universe, spoke. Who has the power to answer his challenge? Gangadi ki bhariyata adhyapakaya shuniya sabhara ahankara churnahaya. The pride of those teachers who heard such words as they passed by on their way to take bath in the Ganges was smashed into pieces. So people were walking by and Nimai Pandit was having an open challenge. Anybody wants to come? You want to come and argue? But the people who were passing by did not even want to try because they knew that even if they try, all their logic and their argument would be smashed into pieces by Nimai Pandit. Kara Shakti Ache Vishwam Bhare Rasamipe Siddhanta Di Beka Hena Achena Vadvipe. Who in this Navadvip had the power to establish a conclusion before Vishwambhara? Daiva ara eka nagari yara duyare eka mahabhagyavan ache vipravare. By providence, okay, by providence, one of the most fortunate Brahmana, Mahabhagyavan ache vipra, very, very fortunate Vipra, he was sitting at the doorstep of the nearby house. So Nimai had taken a seat near one of the houses. There are many houses like that. And in the doorstep of another house, there was a very, very fortunate Brahmana. What was his name? That we will see in verse number 296. His name was Ratnagarbha Acharya. Ratnagarbha Acharya Vikyata Tanyanama Prabhura Pitara Sangi Janma Ekagrama. He was well known by the name Ratnagarbha Acharya, and he was a friend of the Lord's father, being born in the same village. So this person was somewhat senior in age to Nimai Pandit, and he was the age of his father, and his sons were classmates of Nimai Pandit. Okay, so Ratnagarbha Acharya was a very good friend of Jagannath Mishra. He was a neighbor of Jagannath Mishra, and he was a very, very great devotee. Who were the sons of Ratnagarbha Acharya, who were the classmates of Nimai Pandit? Let's see who they were. Tina Putra Tanra Krishna Padamakarandha Krishnananda Jiva Yadunatha Kavi Chandra. The sons were Krishnananda, Jiva, and Yadunatha Kavichandra. And they were like the bees at the lotus feet of Krishna. They were beautiful, beautiful devotees, and they were all associates of Lord Nityananda. So they were very fond of Lord Nityananda. They were the sons of this great Brahmana by the name Ratnagarbha Acharya. Now let's see each one of them. There is reference to each one of them in different parts of Chaitanya Bhagavat and in Chaitanya Charitamrita. However, nothing extra is being mentioned besides what is there in this purport when I looked up these different verses. So we will just concentrate on this particular purport. There was nothing much to pick from other places. So let's see what was written here. The first son was Krishnananda, and he was one of the sons of Gangadas Pandit's, he was one of the sons of Ratnagarbha Acharya, and he was also a student of Gangadas Pandit. So if he is a student of Gangadas Pandit, it means that he was obviously one of the classmates of Nimai Pandit. And this Krishnadas, he also joined the Lord and his associates in sporting the waters of the Ganges after the deliverance of Jagai Madai. So in the Madhya Khanda of Chaitanya Bhagavat, we will read the deliverance of Jagai Madai. Of course, you all know the story of Jagai Madai, and there is nothing new for me to say again. And you have read it from Chaitanya Charitamrita in great detail. So all of you know the deliverance of Jagai Madai. Right after the pastime was over, all of the associates of Nimai Pandit, along with this particular devotee by the name Krishnananda, they all sported in the water of the Ganges. So basically, he was a very good friend of Nimai Pandit. And not only that, he was also a very close associate of Nityananda Prabhu. All these three brothers, they were very close to Nityananda Prabhu. The second son was Jiva. This is not Jiva Goswami. This is Jiva Pandita, and he was the brother of Krishnananda and Yadunatha Kavichandra. Okay. Regarding Jiva Pandita, Again, in the Antya Khanda, we see that Jiva Pandita was very, very magnanimous and very fortunate, and Lord Nityananda would go to his house and he would enjoy many pastimes with him. Again, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Jiva Pandita glorified different qualities of Nityananda Prabhu. He was very close to Nityananda Prabhu. And according to Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, in Krishna Leela, he is a Vrajavasi by the name Indira, this Jiva Pandit. Okay. And the last son, is Yadunatha Kavichandra. And again, we see in the Antyakanda some information about Yadunatha Kavichandra. He was full of transcendental mellows of love of Krishna. Obviously, Nityananda Prabhu was very, very close to him, and Lord Nityananda constantly showered his mercy on him. Again, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see the same thing mentioned, that this Yadunath Kavichandra was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda, and Nityananda danced in the heart of Yadunath Kavichandra. Okay, so what did we see? We saw Ratnagarbha Acharya was one of the neighbors of Jagannath Mishra, who was living in the same, same area, one of the close neighbors. And he also sat down in the front of his porch, and we'll see what happened to him. And he is the father of these three boys, who was of the same age of Nimai Pandit. These boys were around the same age of Nimai Pandit. They were all classmates. And their father was this Ratnagarbha Acharya, who was a similar age of Nimai's father, Jagannath Mishra. Now, what happened to the topmost Brahmana? Bhagavata Parama Adhari Dvijavara Bhagavata Shloka Pade Kariya Adhara. That topmost Brahmana had the highest respect for Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Parama Adhare. He had great respect. Not only did he have great respect for Srimad Bhagavatam, but when he would recite the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, that time also he would recite it with great affection and respect. Bhagavata Shloka Pade Kariya Adhara. So with great respect. So he loved reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, what was he reciting? He was reciting a very, very beautiful verse from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is such a beautiful verse that describes the beauty of the Lord as he appeared in the forest of Vrindavan in front of some very special devotees. So we will get a little bit into the story, a little bit, and then we will analyze that verse nicely. So in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the story of the Yajna Patnis. All of you have heard of that story, I believe, right? So there was a particular village nearby in Vrindavan, and it was called as the village of the Yajna Brahmanas. They were performing the Angi Rasa sacrifice at that place. And Krishna and Balaram had gone into the forest along with their friends. They were feeling very, very hungry. The boys were feeling very hungry. It is very interesting that they call out Rama and Krishna. Rama is Balarama. So they call out to Rama and Krishna and call them that, oh, you are the chastiser of the enemy. We are very hungry. So make some arrangements for us. And very interestingly, it is mentioned that the greatest enemy for every human being in the Vedas, anyone can take a guess of what the greatest enemy is that is mentioned in the Vedas for every person. What do you think is the greatest enemy?
I think hunger.
Hunger is. Hunger can make an angel into a demon and a demon into an angel. Yeah. Yeah, it is actually hunger. It's very, even I thought it's the mind or it is envy or any of these anarthas, but Vedas say it is hunger. It can really change you upside down. So these boys were very, very hungry. So they were calling out Krishna and Rama as the chastiser of the enemy. Now we have an enemy, which is hunger, which is the greatest enemy. So now you find a solution to this enemy. So they call out to Krishna and Balaram like that. And Krishna and Balaram, they give them an idea. They tell the boys that nearby there are some Brahmanas who are performing this Angi Rasa ceremony, sacrifice. By performing that, they get ascension into heavenly planets. So they tell him, go and tell that Balaram and Krishna have come nearby and they are hungry. So Krishna has a plan. He says, say Balaram's name first, because Balaram is a Kshatriya. He was known already to be a Kshatriya as Vasudeva and Rohini's son. But whereas Krishna was always seen as a Vaishya. So he tells, tell Balaram's name first. So the Brahmanas will think that it is appropriate to give him some what do you say? Some dakshina, some food, okay? Food as an offering, okay? It will be appropriate. So these boys, they go and tell the Yajna Brahmanas that, Balaram and Krishna are nearby and we are all very hungry. So please give us some food. And it is not wrong to give, to offer foodstuffs at this point in time, because the sacrifice was almost complete. They were in the last phase of the sacrifice. So once the last phase is crossed, it's okay for the Brahmanas to partake the prasadam and also give any beggars who come by. So they were posing themselves as people who are asking yachana, they were begging for food. So it is appropriate for the Brahmanas to partake the prasadam and give any offering to beggars. So the boys, they went and they asked, oh, please give us food. And the Brahmanas neither said yes nor no. They didn't acknowledge appropriately the request of the cowherd boys. Now, this was insulting. And it's interesting that when Parikshit Maharaj was hearing the story, Parikshit Maharaj was getting very angry. He was like, what? They said no food? They didn't even respond when Krishna and Balaram were hungry. He got really, Parikshit Maharaj was so upset. And then Shukadev Goswami was pacifying him by telling the next part of the story. So he says, no, hold on. They said that there is no food. And the boys, they go back to Krishna and Balram and they say that these Yajna Brahmanas, they didn't even respond to us. They didn't say no nor yes. They ignored. Why they didn't say yes or no? They didn't say yes because they were not ready to give the foodstuffs at that time. They didn't say yes either at that point in time because they didn't want to stop at their work and get up and give the foodstuffs to the boys. So either way, the boys, they went and they told Krishna and Balaram. They went and told Krishna and Balaram that the Brahmanas did not respond. That is when Krishna and Balaram tells, okay, now you go back and the wives of the Brahmanas are inside. You go and tell the wives of the Brahmanas that we are there nearby. Krishna doesn't don't tell them that we are hungry. He doesn't tell the boys to go and tell that Krishna and Balaram are hungry, because the Yajna Patnis, they wouldn't feel happy in the heart if they knew that their worshipable Lord Krishna was hungry. So he didn't want to give pain to those ladies. So he tells the cowherd boys, you go and ask them, just go tell them that we are nearby and they will give you the food immediately. So we have the cowherd boys going back, and this time they go and meet, they offer their obeisances to the wives of the Brahmanas. And they ask the wives of the Brahmanas that Krishna and Balaram are nearby. But in their anxiety, they end up blurting the fact that Krishna and Balaram are hungry and we are also hungry. And immediately the Yajnapatnis, they were so, they didn't know, what they should do immediately. They were almost on the verge of fainting when they heard the painful news that their worshipable Lord is actually hungry. And immediately they get up, they pack 4 different kinds of foodstuff. You all know Chaturvidha, the 4 types of foodstuff, that which is sucked, that which is swallowed, that which is licked, and that which is chewed. Yeah, 4 different types. So they pack all these 4 different types of foodstuffs in different containers and they go running to see Krishna. Actually, these ladies, they had heard about the glories of Krishna, about the beauty of Krishna. They had heard this from the different Vrajavasis who would pass by, who would sell fruits and vegetables, the different cowherd ladies or the other people, the sellers and other people who had gone by this village. They had heard stories about Krishna, and in their heart, they were hankering to see Krishna somehow or the other. So this was the best opportunity for them, and they immediately ran with different kinds of foodstuff. And when they saw Krishna, they saw this very beautiful sight of Krishna. Now that is the verse, the sight that they saw, how Krishna appeared in front of them. That is the verse that this Ratnagarbha Acharya was actually reciting. So let's see what it says. When the hungry cowherd boys requested Krishna for some food, he sent them to some brahmanas who were performing sacrifices nearby. But they were turned away by the brahmanas because they considered Krishna as an ordinary mortal being. Disappointed, the cowherd boys returned to Krishna, who then sent them to the wives of those brahmanas. As soon as the brahmanas' wives were spontaneously attracted to the hearing the transcendental qualities of Krishna, heard of Krishna's appeal for food, they immediately took innumerable foodstuffs of 4 types with them. And in spite of being obstructed by their husbands, brothers, and friends, they came to Krishna with unmotivated and uninterrupted devotion, like a river naturally flows into the ocean. And they saw him as follows. How was he looking? This is a very, very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in this particular chapter. Syamam hiranya paridim vanamalya bharka dhatu pravala natavesham anavratamse vinyastahatamitarena dunanam abjam karnot Palaka Kapola Mukabja Hasam. His complexion was dark blue and his garment was golden. Wearing a peacock feather, colored minerals, sprigs of flower buds, and garland of forest flowers and leaves, he was dressed just like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of a friend, and with the other hand, he twirled a lotus. So he was looking very beautiful. One hand he had rested on his friend's shoulder, and with the other hand, he was twirling a lotus. Lilies graced his ears. His hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments that when Krishna was twirling the lotus, he had one hand over his friend and he was twirling the lotus. So when he was twirling the lotus like that, it is indicative that Krishna is telling the ladies who had come, see, your heart is like this lotus, and with my love, I'm twirling this lotus. I'm twirling your hearts with my beauty. And the other meaning of it is Krishna's like, my heart is like the lotus, and your arrival here is like my heart getting twirled because of the love that you are showing to me. So like that, Krishna was talking, with his body language. So he was twirling the lotus and he was looking so beautiful. He had this beautiful dark complexion. His garment was golden. He was wearing peacock feather. He had decorated himself with minerals and sprigs of little flower birds. He was wearing his famous Vaijayanti mala, and he was looking like a beautiful, beautiful dancer with his curling hair over his cheeks and falling down his shoulders. So you can imagine this beautiful sight. So with a lot of love in his deep meditation, as he was reciting the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with great respect, this Ratnagarbha Acharya was reciting this verse, not like how I recited it, in a much better way, in a proper meter with proper Sanskrit pronunciation. He recited this particular verse. What happened to Nimai Pandit, who was sitting there? He was sitting nearby wearing yoga patta, and he was all ready in Virasana. He was calling out people, come, I will defeat your argument. The minute he heard this beautiful chanting of this great devotee, let's see what happened. Bhakti yoge shloka pade parama santoshe prabhura karnete asi karila praveshe. As he devotedly recited the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with great satisfaction, the sounds of his recitation entered the ears of the Lord. It's interesting that whenever you chant the holy names of the Lord, whenever you recite Srimad Bhagavatam, automatically the ears of the Lord get tuned to it. So if there is something that we can relate to a lot is spoken, if somebody is speaking about us, for example, forget all these esoteric topics, just if somebody is talking something about us, okay, even small kids, 1-year-old, 2-year-old kids, they are very smart. I've seen this recently. 2-3-year-old kids, If the parent or if some friends or if some relatives are talking about the child, immediately the child looks up. The child wants to know what is being spoken about them. Krishna is also like that. You talk from Srimad Bhagavatam about him, immediately his ears are perked up. His eyes become big. He wants to hear what you're telling. You chant his holy names, he gets attentive, whether we are attentive or not. He's very, very attentive because you're calling out to him, right? So he is very attentive. Of course, he feels bad that people like me don't even pay any attention. But he gets very attentive. So like that, our Nimai Pandit, who is not different from Krishna, the minute these verses of Srimad Bhagavatam were spoken by Ratnagarbha Acharya, immediately it went into his ears and it just dragged his attention. And what happened at that time? Bhaktira prabhava matra, Bhaktira prabhava matra sunila, thaki ya se kshane padile na murchitahaya. When the Lord heard the glorification of devotional service of bhakti, he lost external consciousness and fell down to the ground. This is the greatness of these wonderful Vrajavasis. You know, these Vrajavasis, these ladies who had gone to see Krishna in the forest, leaving their husbands behind, they were so happy to see Krishna in this beautiful form that with their eyes, with all their eagerness, they embraced the Lord within their hearts. Because all this while they had only heard about Krishna. They knew that this boy Krishna is somewhere in the nearby village in Vrindavan, but they had not seen him. They had been hankering to see him someday or the other. They just wanted to get his darshan. The minute they heard that he's very close by and he wants some food, in the pretext of packing up some food, they just ran. They just ran away from home. And when they saw this beautiful form, they drank his beauty with their eyes and they embraced Krishna within their heart. They just embraced him right within their heart. And they didn't want to leave that place. But Krishna told them that this is inappropriate. You are the wives of great Brahmanas and your husbands, they are doing great sacrifices. It is your duty as a patni, dharma patni, to sit next to your husband during the fire sacrifice. Because traditionally, even now, any fire sacrifice should not be done without the consent of one's wife. Only a grahastha can actually do a sacrifice, first of all, and only with the consent of his wife. No sacrifice, no fire sacrifice is considered complete if the wife is not giving the sanction. Unless the wife touches the shoulder and gives the sanction, such a sacrifice is not complete, any fire sacrifice. So here the Krishna is telling, no, you have to go back. You have to go back. Your husbands are performing sacrifices. They're doing Angirasa sacrifice. They're going to heavenly planet. You better assist them. Go and give your sanction and assist them and make sure that these yajnas are complete. You cannot be sitting around in this forest. But then the ladies say, no, we don't want to go. We had been waiting for this day. And let us just collect the tulasi leaves that fall off from your feet and let us decorate our hair with the tulasi leaf. See, they don't want to become like the gopis. They know that the gopis are very exalted. Only the gopis do the rasa dance with Krishna. Even the gopis also, in the midst of the night, when they went to meet Krishna, Krishna told them to go back, right? That time the gopis said, no, we are not going back. And they start arguing with Krishna and they tell that Krishna is very hard-hearted and they accuse Krishna. And then finally they have the beautiful rasa dance because they refuse to go back. And Krishna is very pleased with them. So they all spend very nice time together. But here, these Yagnapatnis, they are telling, we'll just collect those leaves that are fallen off from your lotus feet and we will decorate our hairs. That is the only business we will do sitting in this forest. We are not here to even dance with you. So they take a very humble position. And that is also appropriate because they want to be in the footsteps of the gopis. They do not want to become the gopis. So that is the right mood. They say, we'll just do this. But then Krishna convinces them and tells them that, no, you should go back. And the Yajnapatis, they say, no, even if we go back, our husbands won't accept us now because we have just left everything. We're ready to leave behind our husbands, our children, home, wealth, everything just for you. We just want to be with you. But then Krishna assures them, he says, no, your husbands will take you back. It is inappropriate that Brahmana women come out like this. You please go back. And finally, they're convinced and they go back and their husbands accept them. And their husbands actually realized how foolish they were. They were after heavenly pleasures and they were doing the sacrifice for the pleasure of Vishnu. Everything is done for the pleasure of Krishna. But when Krishna himself came in person, they couldn't realize it. They were so materially entangled after sense gratification, after the desire, the enjoyment of the world. And when they saw the symptoms of ecstasy manifesting in their wives, they could understand what great devotees their wives were. And Bhagavatam says they accepted their wives as their guru, as their spiritual master. So these are the glories of these wonderful women. So as this Ratnagarbha Acharya devotedly recited the verses of Bhagavatam, and this recitation entered the ears of the Lord heard the glorification of devotional service by the Dvijapatnis. Glorification of their devotional service. Though the verse itself is a glorification of the beauty of the Lord, who is seeing that beauty of the Lord? How can you see the beauty of the Lord? You can see the beauty of the Lord only if you have bhakti in the heart. Only if you can follow we can follow in the footsteps of these Dvijapatnis, right? So when the Lord heard the glorification of devotional service, he lost external consciousness and he fell to the ground. So back to square one. After all the effort Gangadas Pandit put in, and he said, okay, get back to your old self, Nimai Pandit. You have to do your argument, your teaching, your scholarship, and be a good professor. The minute he heard such a beautiful verse, Nimai was back to square one. Sakala Paduya Varga Vismita Hailak Saneke Antare Prabhu Bhakya Prakashila. All the Lord's students became struck with wonder. Shortly thereafter, the Lord regained his consciousness. Okay. Bahya Pai Bala Bala Bale Vishwambhara Gada Gadiyaya Prabhu Dharani Upara. Upon regaining his consciousness, Vishwambhara repeatedly exclaimed, go on reciting, and he rolled on the ground. Prabhu Bale Bala Bala Bale Vipravara Uthila Samudra Krishna Sukha Manohara. The Lord said, chant, chant, and the pious Brahmana, Ratnagarbha, continued reciting. Thus, an enchanting ocean of happiness and Krishna consciousness began to manifest in the heart of Nimai. So he was asking him to chant again and again, and he was falling in ecstasy. Lochanera jale haila prithvi sanchita ashru kampa pulaka sakala subidita. The earth became soaked with the tears of the Lord, who manifest ecstatic symptoms like tears, shivering, and hair standing on end. Ashru, Kampa, Pulaka Sakala. All this happened. So he started manifesting symptoms of ecstasy. The word Subidita means they were clearly manifest. Teke vipravara tanra parama ananda pade bhakti shloka bhakti sanekari ranga. When the pious Brahmana saw the Lord's great happiness, he recited the verses with increased devotion. Beautiful. Beautiful. There was a transcendental competition. The Brahmana was reciting these beautiful verses from the chapter, and Nimai Pandit was enjoying during the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was again and again feeling these symptoms of ecstasy, and he was fainting on the ground. Dhekiyatanaha bhakti yogera prathana pathana tushtahai prabhutane dila alingayana. Seeing his devoted recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord became pleased and embraced him. So beautiful. Paiya Vaikuntanaya Kera Alangina Preme Purna Ratna Garbha Hailatha Khana. Being embraced by the Lord of Vaikunta, Ratna Garbha became filled with love of God. Let me ask you all a question. There was a similar instance in Jagannath Puri when there was a great devotee who was reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, and our Nimai, who was then a sannyasi, Sri Krishna Caitanya, embraced him in great happiness and told him, oh, continue chanting. Who was this?
Raja Pratap Rudra.
Yeah, Maharaj Prataparudra, very nice. Yes, same thing, same thing. So here again, he was so happy that Ratnagarbha was chanting these verses from Bhagavatam and he was telling him, go on, and he was embracing him with all his love. Same thing happened with Maharaj Prataparudra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted King Prataparudra to get the mercy of the Lord. Prataparudra got a little bit mercy when he took the humble mood of a servant and he swept in front of Jagannath's Rath cart. That time itself, the Lord thought in his heart that he wanted to give his mercy to this king. But later, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tells King Prataparudra how to actually get the mercy of the Lord in person. He tells King Prataparudra to dress himself like a simple cowherd boy, a simple man, not like a king, simple man, and go in front of Lord Chaitanya, who would be sitting near the Gundicha Mandir after dancing in front of the Rath cart. He was asked to go there and recite verses from Gopi Gita. Gopi Gita, and basically the 5 chapter, that particular section of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the gopis glorify Krishna in separation. So he goes and he begins to chant a few verses, and immediately the Lord is so happy that he embraces Prataparudra and he tells him, go on, go on. He doesn't even realize who's in front of him. His eyes are filled with tears and he's in so much happiness that he embraces him with love. So like that, Prataparudra attains the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Similarly, here we see Ratnagarbha also. He gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya when this Nimai Pandit, he embraces Ratnagarbha, that Lord of Vaikuntha, Nimai, he embraces Ratnagarbha and Ratnagarbha becomes filled with love of God. Anyone who comes in contact with the Lord, the touch of the Lord, anything to do with the Lord will automatically become filled with love of God. What to talk of touch of Lord, even if you're getting in touch with any of the paraphernalia of God, symptoms of ecstasy can be evoked. Like we know the story of how so many people, just by saying, you know the story of Mukunda? Yeah, Mukunda, who saw the peacock feather and immediately he started showing symptoms of ecstasy of love of God. So like this Ratnagarbha, he became filled with love of God. Text 309. Prabhura charana dhari Ratnagarbha khande Bandi haila dvija chaitanyera prema phande. Ratnagarbha wept aloud as he clasped the Lord's feet. Thus the Brahmana was ensnared in the network of Lord Chaitanya's love. What a beautiful way of saying this. He was ensnared in the network of Lord Chaitanya's love. It's a network. It's a very thick network. Once you get caught in it, it is difficult to come out. We say, right, Krishna consciousness is one-way traffic. Once you go in, there is no exit. You're gone and you're sucked in. That's it. There is no way out. It's a very complex network. You can't get out of it. And look at this. Lord Chaitanya himself has embraced him. Already he's a great devotee. He has so much respect and love for Bhagavatam, and he's chanting and he's reciting verses. And now he gets the embrace of Lord Chaitanya. He was captured by the bondage of love. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. Actually, everybody who has read Srimad Bhagavatam or who has come across wonderful devotees who have heard directly from Mahabhagavats, you get captured by that bondage of love, that complex network, and it is impossible to get out. Punaha punaha pade shloka prema yukta hai bala bala bale prabhu hunkara kariya. As the Brahmana repeatedly recited the verses with love and devotion, the Lord loudly exclaimed, go on reciting, and he didn't want him to stop. Dekiya sabara haila arupa jnana nagariya saba deki kare pranama. Seeing this, the local inhabitants were struck with wonder and offered their respectful obeisances. Kshane ke haila bhakya drishti gauraraya ki bala prabhu jignase sadaya. After a short time, Lord Gauranga regained his external consciousness and inquired, what did you say? What did you say? So Mahaprabhu regains his external consciousness and he asked, what happened? What did you say? And Prabhu bale ki chanchalya karila nami paduya sakala bale krita kritya tumi. The Lord asked, "Oh, what happened to me? Have I been restless?" And the students replied, "Yeah, your actions are very glorious." The word kritakritya means successful, glorious, satisfied, fulfilled in desire, successful attempt, or learned. They were happy. They were very happy. So in just a few minutes back, he took the Virasana posture and he was trying to become very argumentative. And now he was completely flooded with love of God. So the students were also very happy. They said, "Your actions are very glorious." कि बलिते परियमा सबरस शकति आप्त गणे निर्वारिला nakari hastuti. What power do we have to explain your activities? The Lord's intimate associates intervened. Don't indulge in praising him. Why? Because they were scared that the Lord will again lose his consciousness and he'll again faint. Again, they have to chant the holy names of Krishna, bring him back to consciousness. And, the Lord really gets easily in the cycle of fainting in ecstasy. So the intimate associates, like Radha Pandit and others, are like, okay, stop. Don't keep praising him. Don't keep telling this. Because again, he will hear again Ratnagarbha chant and again he will develop symptoms of ecstasy. So they just wanted to control him out of love and affection. It's not that they didn't want to see him like that, but they had so much affection that they didn't want the Lord to get pained. So they said, okay, stop. Don't let him do that. Bhagyapai Vishwambara Panasambare Sarva Gani Chali Lena Ganga Deki Bare. Upon regaining his consciousness, Vishwambhar restrained himself. Thereafter, he went with his associates to the bank of the river Ganges with his associates. Okay? So we'll end here. That's all this pastime is about. And tomorrow we'll see what happened after they took bath in the Ganges. And there is a very beautiful comparison of Lord Chaitanya and Krishna about the son of Nanda and Nimai Pandit, how they perform pastimes in the water. So that we will cover next session, and I will stop here. Okay, any questions, comments, realizations? I don't know. It's just a story, so I don't know if you have any questions, but yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhu, your audio is not great.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Again, problem. That's why 2 times I lost. I was feeling so sad. See, one of the points I liked so much was, you said the sound of recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam and the chanting, when we do nicely, it goes inside the ears of Lord Krishna and he becomes so happy. So that made me to think that how foolishly we are chanting. He is waiting to listen and we are not chanting. Thank you for that one point. And the other one, what I liked was, when you read nicely Srimad Bhagavatam verses and chant nicely, immediately Lord Krishna and Balaram attentively listens to our recitations, but we are not attentively chanting and they get happiness. Thank you. Second point, take away. The third one, and what you tell was very correct, that the kids, they listen, whatever we talk, they'll be, because they won't know what we are talking. Like Krishna and Balaram are waiting to hear, Radharani is waiting what we are talking. And the best one I liked was, the Vrajavasis want to drink the beauty of Krishna. Pibata Bhagavata, like Pibata Krishna's beauty, and hug and embrace Krishna wholeheartedly. I also want to go back and embrace Krishna. And the next one I liked was the Bhagavatam recited by Raja Ratnagarbha Brahmana was so much like. And then you told about Pratapruddha. This one, can you just, I want to recite one line which he just hugged. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi biridita kalmasapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Te Bhurida Jana Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. This came in my mind. I love this so much, and you made me to remember this. Thank you so much. The next takeaway, thank you, Mother. The next
And
takeaway, which I like.
I'm sure Krishna heard that. He sang
Yeah,
it with
thank you,
so much
Mataji.
intensity.
You really enthused me to do it. No, I will give wholeheartedly. The next one, what I liked was you told about get caught in the network of Caitanya. So it reminded me, Yet Gatvana Nivattante Tad Dhamma Paramama. You can only go inside, you cannot come out, you will get stuck. That really, so no U-turn, there's only one turn. We get stuck in Krishna's Vaikuntha or Goloka. Thank you,
Actually,
Mataji.
whatever you said was also there in Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's commentary for those verses where the Yajnapatis go and see Krishna. Vijayapatnis, when they see Krishna, all this is there in the commentary. Once you go there is no question of return. Yad Gatvana Nivartante. This is there, directly there. So it's also coming from your heart.
Because this I got from Gaur Krishna. Go, I send you the Bhagavatam, no? I'm hearing every day. Second time I gone. So this thing comes in the mind and I really become so happy that, no, I want to hear again. I want to hear again. I want to hear again. So it become like an addicted Mataji. So thank you so much. When I lost my concern, I was trying to Krishna, how I'm missing Preethi in my class, how will I come? Krishna gave it. The whole internet went. Then came the data and I got it. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. So wonderful. You are so divine, the way you recite. So nice. You are so much. You are a Manjari only. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. All the best.
Agree. Hari Hari, Gauranga. Thank you, Prabhu Dandvat.
Gauranga Mataji. Nityananda.
Hare Krishna. Kaneshwari Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Prabhu, what wonderful recitation! And my request is that I also get that addiction. Please let me also have that addiction.
We have become the club member of Bhakti Sangha Addiction Club.
I think
we are becoming so much addicted.
We have to. I had a couple comments and then a question. So my comment, first of all, is I was just thinking when you were saying that hunger is the greatest enemy. I was just remembering that my grandson always will tell me sometimes, "Mama, I'm hangry now. I'm hangry now." Daddy's hungry and angry. I said, okay, because he's hungry now and he's getting angry. So he's hangry. He's 7 years old. He said, I'm hangry. The other comment is also that I was thinking is that, naturally you would think that, when this always happens when you're having a big puja or something, inevitably it goes on and kids come and say, I'm hungry, right? It's so natural. I'm hungry, and so we definitely want to, we want to feed the kids. It's just a natural tendency. I just like the way that natural attraction for feeding children, when they're hungry. I don't know. It just touched my heart. And my question is, and maybe I missed it in the beginning when you were telling her that he was sitting in this sannyasa, this asana was. Is there a certain reason why they sit like that with that title?
It's an argumentative pose. So one is meditation. To fix yourself in an asana, they use that yoga patta cloth. Okay. Like that. And then he was, in another verse in Adikanda, it says that he was in the Virasana, an argumentative pose. So calling on people, okay, come, let's argue.
Okay. So it's two different things. Basically, the Virasana, because that asana with the patta, just to become in that asana, and then this second message was that he was calling for argument. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Mataji, one more thing I want to add. You told that the biggest enemy is hungry. As an auditor, we have been eating so much, I thought it's my friend. But now I reveal it's my enemy. I am the hungry personified. I eat like Bhima. That's why I'm also so fat.
Same here, Prabhu. And I was
No,
also...
You are slim and trim, Mataji. Don't say you're fat.
You've not seen me in person, that's why. Okay. And I was thinking of Parikshit also, right? The same thing happened to him. Just that hunger can create so much.
But he didn't eat, no 7 days, 7 nights, no eating, no sleeping. He was just totally
absorbed later, right? Later he was so totally absorbed.
I think when Takshaka came and bit him, he was already, the Atma has left. Only the dead body was bitten by Atma, the Takshaka.
Yeah. So nice, right?
So nice, Mataji. Your class is so, and with so much of attraction in the class. Please come again and again. Wonderful. That Bhava is very good. And Krishna is Bhava Grahi.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Sukaka Krishna Prabhu summarized very, very nice, Mataji. I really liked the summary points of Sukaka Krishna Prabhu. It covered all the points that you have shared.
All your blessings, Mataji. You are all gopis. I am just a servant of all of you.
Prabhu, I am just servant. Today morning only we heard from Maharaj that we should be always the servant, and I am a servant of all of the Bhakti Sangha. I'm so happy to be like that. Mataji, here I was thinking like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was diverting his mood. And you were telling he was sitting in a pose of like argument and like that, like a big, person there. Then I was thinking, what happened to his mood before? He was like he was stopped everything again. Suddenly his mood is changed to again back to the scholar, and then again he came back once the recitation of the verses started. So this is I was thinking we cannot compare Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with us, but then our mood is also like sometimes we are very good in devotion, and sometimes suddenly the material things will come up and somebody will come and push us. Oh, okay, this is not your position, this is your position, and then we'll come back. So I was relating to that, how we are also like jumping up down in our devotion. Only through devotee, when devotees are there around us, then we cannot go away anywhere, and we'll be in that circle of Krishna's centered circle. Yeah, Mataji, very, very nice. And another thing I was thinking of, food is a real enemy to us. Like hunger is a real enemy to us. So true, na Mataji.
Friend.
What, Mataji?
Food is our friend. Food is not enemy. Hunger is the enemy.
Hunger is enemy. Yes. Hunger is enemy. So then I was remembering, like in the movies they show, right, Mataji, these beggars when really they don't have food, how they fight for the food. I was remembering that. Really, that shows us that how hunger is the enemy. Like when only those people can understand who don't have food for day to day, then that really shows up how it is enemy. Yeah, very, very nice class, Mataji. Thank you so much. I really like the pastime of Yagnapati that you are describing, and the most sweetest thing is like whenever we recite Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's ears are big open and he's listening to us. So we should not talk other things, talk only about Bhagavatam. So Krishna is always hearing to us. Very, very nice class, Mataji. Hari Bol. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for very nice realizations and lovely, very, very nice.
Mataji, one more point I like. She told was the mind is going here and there, no, always. Sometimes good, sometimes that is like a monkey. There's a Tamil song. Manamuru kurangu, manida monamuru kurangu. Mind is a monkey. Human mind is a monkey.
Yes, Prabhu, that's true. Yeah. The Darshini, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, first itself, I ask for forgiveness if I'll make any mistakes while talking, because all advanced devotees are there. I'm so nervous to talk, first of all. So
Who is that Mataji? Advanced devotee, I would like to know.
all of you, Mataji, all of you. I'm a little nervous to talk. So
Okay.
in case I make some mistakes, please forgive me. Yeah, from Vinita Gandharvika Mataji's reflection, I also felt the way Krishna Bhav and Radha Bhav are just swinging here and there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu stuck actually and oscillating between the moods. And also it made me remember, I don't know in which lecture or from which devotee I heard this, that once when they went to give prasad, some rotis to children, I mean the poor children, actually once they saw children fighting with dogs for the roti. So that really made me realize, how blessed we are, first thing, and how ungrateful I am to whatever I have been given. And also I think it was the purport of verse 297. So I think in that verse it was mentioned that Nityananda Ram Prabhu went to everyone's house and gave them mercy. It also made me reflect that in Kali Yuga, actually there was a time when disciples would go to the spiritual master to learn something and to get God realization. But in Kali Yuga, Guru like Srila Prabhupada and all our Gurujans, they have walked out from their home from Vrindavan to the whole world, and they are coming to our house and they are giving us their mercy. And and still we are not able to take complete benefit of it. So just made me reflect on this. So thank you so much, Mataji.
Wow, it was so profound.
But
Both the
the-
points.
Darshini Mata's one point I like, the dogs and the human being are fighting. Prabhupada found that. Then only he told 10 kilometers near the temple, there should be food should be given for all. That was the point I remembered. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong.
Yes, Prabhu, that's how Food for Life started. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Darshini Mataji, for both the points. It's so nice, so nice.
I'm feeling sad the session is getting over. Already over. Why that 1 hour went off so fast.
Thank you. Prabhu. Thank you, Darshini Mataji as well. Karpagavalli Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class and the session. It was very nice, enlightening. And Mataji, you explained everything very well. I have, as a neophyte devotee, I want to know. We are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I used to think the deities of Rama and Krishna only, but now little bit in my mind, something is running that is Rama is Balarama or that Ramachandra. That point I want to clarify.
They say Radhika Raman now. What I heard recently.
Yes, as Prabhuji mentioned, Radhika Raman is Krishna. Okay. So when we say Rama, it can mean Radhika Raman. It can mean Rama. It can also mean Balarama. Prabhupada said it can mean any of these three. But generally, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we more inclined towards Radhika Raman. But Prabhupada said all three are.
Okay.
Okay. So and you are slowly inclining towards Radhika Raman. Looks like.
Yes, Mataji. My favorite is my Radha Rani Mataji. I adore her. I adore her. Mataji, I love her so much, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Krishna is loving her, so everybody should love her. Krishna loves her.
Thank you.
But the Radha Raman, why like Radha Raman mere, Radha Raman mere, Radha Raman mere, Radha Raman mere. It really touches the heart. When you say Radha Raman, no, it really goes to Gopalapata Goswami's place.
Daily I listen to that Radha Ashtagam and the Radha Kripa Kadaksham, Mataji. That is very nice, Mataji, very nice.
Munindra Vrindavandite.
I love to hear and hear. I want to recite, Mataji. I'm longing to go to Radha Kunda, Mataji. I'm next planning to go to Radha Kunda and worship and her there, Mataji.
Go to Barsana, Mataji, go to Barsana. Go to Barsana. That is Radharani's place, Barsana.
Yes, Prabhuji, but Jaipataka Maharaj and Radhanath Maharaj told, please forgive me, coming in the middle of the talking, that Srimati Shri Radharani is a mercy, live mercy, Prabhuji. Shri Radha Kund, Shri Sham Kund, Srimati Shri Yamuna Maharani, Shri Govardhan Dham. So first we have to go to Shri Govardhan Dham Parikrama and take the darshan of Srimati Shri Yamuna Maharani, Shri Sham Kund, Shri Radha Kund. Not my words, Prabhuji, that is Maharaj words.
Very correct. Mataji explained so nice. I really like Vrinda Mataji. She goes so
10 years
deep.
back I went, but I was not having so much this thing as now. 10 years back, I went 2012, I've been to this Radha Kunda Govardhana Singh by Krishna only took me there. Now I'm realizing after all reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all, I'm having the earnest to go there. Thank you. Thank you, Preethi.
Hare Krishna, dear Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Please arrange one trip for all of us. Take us on
Yes,
this.
beta.
That would be
beta,
great.
please. Please.
Karpagavalli Mataji, same pinch to you. I also like Srimati Radharani very much.
Let's all go for the Kartik Maina. Let's go for the
words.
Kartik Maina. Let's all go for the Kartik Maina in October, November.
Yes, ma'am.
You come, I'll arrange the trip. I'll arrange the trip for you in Vrindavan. I got people.
Prabhuji, pray for all of us that we are qualified to enter in Sridham Vrindavan Dham. Please pray for all of us.
We will go and jump into Radha Kund. I took permission because you can jump.
So I wish
And if you chant 108 times the Radha Kripa Kataksha, then Radharan will give darshan. One Mataji in Delhi, she did that. She did for 108 times. It was almost like 8 o'clock. She came out. Heavy rain was there. And one car came and told Mataji, we'll drop you. She wanted to go to Delhi. And by 9:30 she reached, and that when Mataji and Prabhu was there, she said, all the best, go. And she came back, and at 12 o'clock in the night, Radharani says, you didn't see, I came to drop you. Where? I brought the car for you. My husband Krishna was, Shyamchandra was there. So she said, I'm so unlucky you came and I didn't realize that you are Radharani. And she said, I didn't see Krishna. Yeah, he will give you darshan in 2 days. Third day, when she was doing Mangalarti, she did Mangalarti, and she was looking back. One hand came. It was Krishna's hand. She caught the hand and he took it back. So Krishna also gave darshan. She is the Gopal Krishna Maharaj disciple in Delhi. This Mataji, she did. So my
Prabhuji,
daughter
is it
wanted
in a
to
day 108 rounds of chanting Radha Kripa Kataksha?
Yeah, you have to go inside the Radha Kund water. You have to stand up to the stomach, up to the neck, and chant 108 times. So my daughter and me are wanting to go now. We are going to go next month. But see, we have to chant fast because it takes only 3 minutes. For me, it takes 10 minutes. Munindra Vandavandite. No, she'll do very fast. So it will take 5 hours. So in the water, 5 hours will be cold also. No, so you don't know what will happen to the throat.
Thanks, Prabhu. So Anita Mataji, you know whom to contact now.
Haribol. Yes, Mataji.
So let's all
But
plan.
we all can, all of us can plan, and we can make Shubhakar Prabhuji as a coordinator, and we can follow
All
him.
of you plan and let me know just 1 month in advance, the 15 days in advance. I can make the booking and we will go.
Sure.
For the this Kartik Maina, please plan all of you for 10 days. And I'll call also Bibi Govinda Maharaj, Bhaktiman Govinda Maharaj. He will tell about every tree what happened. He's so expert in Vrindavan.
Yeah, we need
I'll say gopis are coming from USA, so he will come. Bhaktiman Govinda Maharaj, Bibi Govinda Maharaj.
Prabhuji, one gopi from UAE also.
UAE.
Anita
Prabhuji,
Mataji.
UAE.
Oh, Mataji, I didn't see
You
that.
forgot
I didn't
me,
see.
Prabhuji.
Oh, you are my daughter. How can I forget? Anita, Namaya, you only brought me to the Bhakti Sangha. How will I forget? I'm Kritagnya to you. I'm just indebted to you. I cannot give back the curse.
Haribol, all glories to Srimati Radharani and Sri Radha Shyamchandra. They only forced you to come here. And it's grace of all devotees here, all the wonderful gopis here, that we are attracted to this group. Haribol.
For me, Bhakti Sangha is Vrindavan.
Yeah, it's
Afternoon
beautiful.
will be
Bhakti
Bhakti
Sangha
Sangha.
is really addictive.
Yeah.
Prabhu, agree. Wherever we are staying and hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, that place is Sri Ram Vrindavan. If Bhakti Sangha is not here, we don't know where we are, Prabhuji.
East or
credit
west,
goes to
Bhakti
Bhakti
Sangha is the
Sangha.
best.
Every day Bhakti Sangha is bringing one speaker and a wonderful talk, and we cannot miss that one. We cannot daily. I'm longing to hear this one. Without you,
Yeah.
if anything this thing come, it should not come. I should really concentrate in this and listen. I'll be praying. Before that, I'll be praying because I cannot miss that one.
Bhakti Sangha
Today,
is
when
bringing.
we saw the Preethi Vilasini Mataji means, definitely I should not miss her. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Bhakti Sangha is bringing every day Rasamalai, Malpova, one speaker, Bibi, today Bhakti Dev Damodar Maharaj. So you'll find so much. Actually, Radha Kund is coming to Bhakti, because wherever sadhus comes, they carry the Dhama into the place. So they are bigger than the Dhama. So actually, this is Radha Kund, this is Shyam Kund, this is Govardhan, everything is here only, Bhakti Sangha. East or west, Bhakti Sangha is the best. It should never stop. It will never stop. Anybody come and go, but Bhakti Sangha will continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mother. Thank you.
Megha Mataji, you did want to say
Mataji, I think Krishna is here right now. And he is listening everyone.
He's listening.
And he is blessing us, everyone.
Yes. I just wanted to
Hare
say, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. I'm so happy that I was able to listen today in the mid-morning class, because a lot of times because of work, I'm not able to listen, but morning I do try to, come always and listen. So I'm very happy that I got to come today, because it's the Juneteenth holiday here in US. So I don't have work. So and I'm so
you
happy that
have
I get to hear
holiday
your
today,
class.
Preethi Mataji.
That's why
I thought you are doing from work.
Oh.
That's why I didn't post on the Facebook. I will now post it on Facebook. I thought you are doing from work, and I don't want to put it. Okay, now I'll put it on Facebook.
Hari. So yeah, and I also wanted to. I actually joined a little late. I joined at 11 or 10:30. So I heard the half hour, but in that half hour, what Sukha Krishna Das Prabhu said about how you brought out those feelings. Krishna is willing to listen to us, and I also have this realization with I have little kids, right? So when I'm calling or talking to just my husband about the kids or something, or even my grandparents, their ears right away turn. Oh, you're talking about me. What is it? And then how Krishna is listening to us. Like if I call their names, they don't listen if I want to do something. But when I'm talking to someone else about them, it's like right away it comes the attention. So it's very beautiful how you got that connection. And then I was thinking, how you said, like, how unfortunate I am. I try so hard to focus on the chanting, and I keep on even they say not to imagine, but I'm like thinking like to myself, Krishna is here, Krishna is listening, you have to focus, I tell my mind this. So it's like wonderful how you brought that feeling out of how we should continue chant, and it's like really encouraging. So thank you, Mataji, for such a wonderful class, and I can feel your bhava when you are speaking. So thank you, Mataji, for it. Hare Krishna.
Well said, Mataji. Well said. One more point I can tell is, if somebody, if Modi ji comes to our house in Bhakti Sangha, we'll just Modi ji, yes, we'll talk so much, no? But like Krishna is coming to our tongue, he's just sitting and we are thinking so many things. Thinking about this, about breakfast, dinner, lunch, today evening, night, tomorrow, and Krishna is just waiting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram. The only way is to keep the photo of Radha Madhav or Radha Raman, and then write the Mahamantra also and see that. Then our mind will at least come. Sorry, you are all great. I'm telling about myself. Don't think I'm telling about you.
About me also.
Very wonderful.
Beautiful chanting on Bhakti Sangha also. Yes, Praneshwari Mataji has told that we are
Vinita Kandri Mataji chants very nicely. So her chanting is so crystal clear and so Shuddha Nam you chant, Mataji. I hear you every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare, and loudly also you chant.
you, Prabhu, but I know how I'll chant. Thank you, Prabhu. Please pray for me so that I can improve.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, finally, I'm glad to see everybody. Now I can put a face to the name.
Also, Mataji, if you can.
I'm on. I always come on.
Yeah, I put gallery view. Everybody can be seen on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
One other comment I want to make is, I don't know if anybody has heard Kadamba Kanana Swami's little snippet about broken names. You should definitely listen to that. I will share it on the speakers group, and you can share. I was trying to find it. It was just such a beautiful explanation that it's called Broken Names. I mean, I don't even want to describe it because you have to listen to it. I try to listen to it before I chant my rounds because it puts you in such a mood. It is the most beautiful thing that I've ever heard. So I'm going to share it on the speakers group. And maybe you can share it. Or if you look for it, Kadamba Kanana Swami's Broken Names.
Broken Names.
Yeah, we can add this one to the description box in the YouTube. I will put it so everybody can get it from there.
Sure.
Actually, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, the last day when he was leaving his body, actually, he told his Guru Maharaj, Jayadvaita Maharaj, that I am not able to chant because it was taking 10 hours to chant 16 rounds. So Jayadvaita Maharaj said, you just chant one time, that is one round. So you just chant 16 times, I will tell Prabhupada 16 rounds. He said, Guru Maharaj, don't make me lazy. I want to just finish the round. He finished 16 rounds, then he left his body. And then Jayadvaita Maharaj was crying in one of the lecture that how wonderful son I got. The father is still there and the son has gone. And he has only one disciple. He only initiated one disciple in the whole world, and he went back home, back to God. And the same thing happened to another devotee when Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was not able to chant in the end. He was not able to chant. And Mahaprabhu said, enough. I'm happy with your chanting. Enough. There's no need to chant. Just relax. No, Mahaprabhu, don't tell me like that. And he was also chanting. And he finished 192 and they left his body. And Mahaprabhu took his body and he was so slim and trim. He was playing like a ball and he was jumping and he went into the water, dipped him, took out. So he did like his own son. The last cremation ceremony like his own son. So I really love Haridas Thakur so much that he's so great that Mahaprabhu just danced with his body. So if you chant, Krishna will take and dance with our body. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Sorry.
Nice to hear.
Bol Prabhu, Radharani ki jai ho, jai jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Anything, anybody wants to add anything? Say anything. Share your heart.
Hare Krishna Mataji, what a wonderful class. And this is the most loveliest part of it is that everybody is so happy and everyone is interacting so nicely. And it's such a blessing to see that we are still as one family trying to push Bhakti Sangha forward. So wonderful. And so happy that you came and gave the class, Mataji. We all know that it's a very busy time for you and still you did this. So very, very grateful to you. Hare Krishna. Wonderful class. So many points. Such beautiful points. I loved how Sukakar Prabhu summarized everything. Hare Krishna.
But Mataji, if you ask Srila Prabhupada now, you will tell of all the places Radha Kund is the topmost, and of all the things in the world, Bhakti Sangha is above that. Because Radha Kund is coming every day. Shamakut is coming every day. Govardhan is coming every day. All Maharaj and one after ek se badkar ek, there is, you don't know which speaker all. Yeah. I like jalebi, I like rasmalai. I want to, but one thing, no diabetes in this. When you eat, you will get diabetes, but in Bhakti Sangha, no diabetes.
No weight gain also. No, weight gain is there. Just by hearing, we become so happy. So weight gain.
And digestion also no problem. We can keep eating more and more. I can tell you one thing for the chanting, best chanting is, the chanting is liked by Krishna so much that, so when you say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You think Krishna and chant, so Krishna is Govinda. Govinda comes and says, who is chanting like this? Go. And when you listen, listening is Radharani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You listen carefully, Radharani comes. So Govinda comes, go. Radharani comes, Ra. Go Ra. When you do this thing, Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes. Then it goes inside the heart. It is Gauranga, Nityananda. It goes inside Gauranga. And then the Kirtanam, Shravanam, inside becomes Smaranam. Then Gauranga, and when Gauranga comes, Nityananda Prabhu comes, and Radharani is already there. All of them dance inside. Then becomes ecstasy. Sorry, my reflection.
Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol.
I take only one second.
Go, Ra and Sangha. Govinda, Radharani, Radha, Sangha. So Go, Ra, Anga. So Goranga. That is Goranga.
Wow. Very nice.
Haribol. Yesterday, Bhavtarini, H.G. Bhavtarini Mataji came and I forgot the Prabhupada disciple name. And they sing so nicely with violin, chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And H.G. Bhavtarini Mataji is staying in Mayapur Dham and 6 months in abroad someplace, and she sings so from bottom of the heart Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and chant Hare Krishna. I shared video with all of you, and it is we are so fortunate that we get an association of H.H. Romapada Maharaj, H.H. Jaipataka Maharaj. In summer, all the Maharaj and all senior brahmacharis are coming in Atlanta, Paniyati Dham. So blessing of Srila Prabhupada that we get association of Srila Prabhupada disciple in summertime. Hari Hari Gauranga Dandavat. Thank you, Preethi Mataji. So touched to heart class today's Mataji.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Vinita Mataji, I want you to invite me in the Bhagavatam. I got 16 rounds. Each round, how you to dedicate and become more. I took a class yesterday. I called Bhakti Matsanga Preethi Mataji also. So each round is going to implicate one item. So in the 16th round, you'll get the seva completely. So if you give me one Bhagavatam class, I will just finish and complete this 1 hour. And it will really make your chanting
Prabhu,
different.
we'll try to accommodate. Sure,
Yeah.
Prabhu. We'll see that.
Mataji is asking in the chat, Radha Govind Maharaj's appearance day is tomorrow for the US, or when is it? Indu Mataji, you have that? No?
Oh.
Radha Govind Maharaj is not in the calendar.
Not on the calendar. Okay.
Oh, I don't see it in the calendar, Mataji.
He's the best Bhagavatam reciter, Radha Govind Maharaj. So nicely he gives. Amarendra Prabhu is his disciple.
Yes.
And you can see Amarendra Prabhu's quality because of his Guru Maharaj. And also that he's Arjun Saka. And also this Gaur Krishna Maharaj. I sent you the Bhagavatam Mataji. That is Radha Govind Maharaj disciple. Gaur Krishna Maharaj, full Bhagavatam has sent. I to send to all of you. I don't know who all have listened. Please listen. You'll never leave it. You'll never leave it.
I listen, Prabhuji.
Each one around 3 hours or 4 hours, but around 40 hours. If you can plan to listen 2 hours per day, so in 10, 20 days we'll finish. But I become addicted. Every day, 3-4 hours, I'll go outside, keep listening, walk, and I want to finish one canto one day. So like that. So every 7 days, I'm again coming back. Because I don't know when we will die. We don't know. That's why.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. See your class. Because of your class, we spoke all these things. So you are really a very great, pure devotee. That's why we made everyone to come on the video and talking. We are not in video. And my friend, I think Sanjeev Kumar also has come from Jagannath Puri.
Today, as Mataji told.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu is from Jagannath Puri, very good devotee. And also Hemangi Mansi from Chennai. A lot of devotees I call. I said, today come, Preethi Vilasini, you come. You'll get addicted. So they all came.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. You're all great. So I am from Chennai. You're all from Vrindavan, actually. Bhakti Nagar is Vrindavan only. No, it's not different. And Mayapur also.
Is there anybody having any more realization? Last realization, it's 11:35.
It is Tirtha Tirthani Kurvanti. Bhakti Sangha is Tirtha Tirthani Kurvanti. Wherever the big Diggaj Vaishnavas come, like Preethi, Vilasini and all, they're all Tirtha only. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna
Thank you so
Mataji,
much.
Dandavat Pranam.
Oh, Sita Preethi Mataji is here. Go ahead,
Hare
Mataji.
Bol. Hare Bol Mataji. Wonderful class, Mataji. I was like here and there, but then I'll listen to the class again. The main attraction, I think, is all happy faces. And everybody shared such beautiful realizations. Mataji, we want to see you. One second,
Mataji.
Mataji. One second, where it went. Yeah. Hare Bol Mataji.
Jai.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol, Sita
Hare
Preethi
Krishna.
Gopi, Jai Go, Dandavad.
Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Indulekha Mataji is
Hare
also on
Krishna,
video.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
It is always a pleasure to listen to Mataji. I know I was outside, but then I saw to it that I'll log in. Then I returned back.
I always see her like Andal. She's actually wife of Krishna. Andal.
Not me, Prabhu. You only.
Yes. Yes. You came in the dream one day as a Khanda.
See, Mataji. It's
Sita
real
Preethi
Mataji.
Mataji is like Ramachandra's wife only. Sita Preethi. Sita giving Preethi to Lord Rama. And Preethi Vilasini is Preethi giving Preethi to Krishna. That is Radharani. So the names are so wonderful. Radhanath Maharaj has given. And Vrita Gandharvika. She is a Gandharva planet. She is the greatest pure devotee from Gandharva planet. And Vrinda Gopika. She is actually Tulsi Maharani and a Gopi, both. And Tulsi is Haripriya. She is always sitting in the lap, leg of Krishna. So the Gopis go and ask, where is Krishna? He is there. Because she knows where Krishna has gone. I took so much of your time. Don't feel bad. From tomorrow, you will not allow me to come. Prabhu keeps on talking.
We are all smiling because of Prabhu. So it's really nice.
Because when I see such great gopis, I get reflection to talk. Otherwise, nothing comes. You're all really pure devotees, always in Krishna consciousness, 100% sunk in it. But Bhakti Sangha is such a that you are sunk. I find classes in the night, 2 o'clock, I see some class going on. 12 o'clock, midnight class going on.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Bhakti Sangha, whoever has designed is something great. I will really say all over Shama Gauri Madhya, whoever invented something great, Bhakti Sangha. It's the best place. Anyone coming to become good Krishna conscious, they have to come to Bhakti Sangha. Then they'll become a good Bhakta.
And I think like how, when you say that, this is again my reflection, okay, Mataji. Like when that, like suppose you go to Tirupati Balaji, you Vrindavan, you always say that unless and until the Lord calls you or unless and until Radharani allows you, you're not allowed to enter into that dham. Same is with Bhakti Sangha. No matter what you do, like I got introduced to Bhakti Sangha in a very mysterious way. Like I've once shared this experience, but then once it was Nitai Sevani Mataji's class. The poster I had seen, and then I logged in, and I didn't see the date and everything. And it was a Sunday, and it was Adi Gadadhar Prabhu's class. And Adi Gadadhar Prabhu's class means you all know you are like totally immersed into it, totally stuck. And I was like, then I asked questions like, is it every Sunday or where is Nitai Sevani Mataji's class? Then I realized about how things are, and then like it was like then I started getting into it, the kids classes. So within no time I just got into everything. So like Bhakti Sangha is a big family. It's like the first family for me. So
many janmas you have done good thing, that's why you joined Bhakti Sangha. Everybody cannot join.
Yes.
There is some Agyat Sukriti there.
Yes, truly, Prabhu. And with such amazing speakers, and every time realizations are like they make you feel, that yes, you need to do a little bit more. And Krishna consciousness is one thing that it's always, there's one space more for one more thing. Yes. Like every time you can do one thing more. And that thing doing also, you still can accommodate everything.
Correct.
So it's really, really grateful to Bhakti Sangha for giving this like amazing speakers and so many opportunities. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. I was just wondering, that's what, like, with so much of busy schedule for you, I was like wondering, like, how did you have time? And Prabhu said, like, in the afternoon, Prabhu said that US has a holiday today. I was like, okay, then I said, like, maybe there's a holiday.
Thank you.
One day
Thank
we
you,
were
Mataji.
serving Jayapatak Maharaj food. 64 items they have brought. And Guru Maharaj used to eat more before, before he got this brain hemorrhage. So we already done 64 and one more I got. One kheer, semaya payasam. So everybody said, don't give Sukkar Prabhu, don't give. I said, okay, I will not give. So Guru Maharaj said, I can take. He said, how? He's telling, suppose you have got a fully loaded one room, but suddenly the president comes. You will find space. No, for president space is there. He's telling the semaya payasam president. It will find its space. Open it. So he took semaya payasam.
Hari bol. So nice.
Thank you so much for all of you. Thank you, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Fantastic. Please come every week once.
True, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Come again, come again.
Come again. Thank you all.
Thank you everyone for the beautiful conversation. Thank you Preethi Vilasini Mataji for nice class. We would like to close the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Preethi Vilasini Mataji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhyev patitanaam pavanebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शीला प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रीति विलासिनी माता जी की जय, ऑल डिवोटीज की जय.
Preethi Vilasini Mataji, koti
Thank you
dandat
so
pranam.
much, Mataji. Wonderful class. Such a wonderful family. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga, Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Gauranga,
Jai Jai Shri
Nityananda.
Radhe Shyam.